All rise. Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay. Silence is commanded by this honorable commission. All those having business, draw near.
Thank you, and at this time you may have a seat. I've asked you to have a seat at this time so that we can do some house cleaning chores so that we don't get disturbed and we stay within the realms and of what we are governed by. Let me ask you now to check your cell phones. Please make sure that they're on silent or on vibrate, or whichever you choose to do, so that it doesn't interrupt these proceedings. We've got the sheriff here and we got his deputies here, and we've been known to go back with pocket full, so please, ma'am, please, sir, check your cell phones. Check your cell phones. Check your cell phone. 3 times. All right, ready, set, go. Today I am proud and honored to introduce our inspirationist and our invocationist, who is the Bishop Thomas J. Sills of the Connors Temple Baptist Church. Bishop Sills was called to preach at the age of 14 in 1997. He was ordained and also completed shepherd's class and ministry training. He was called to preach at the Sweet Field of Eden Baptist Church in October of 1998 and became the pastor of Connors Temple Baptist Church in March of 2020. Let me also add to it, because it's not on there because of my running around, I forgot to tell them. He is now the president of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance here in Chatham County. And so let me present to some and introduce to others Bishop Sills. The mic is yours, and when you get ready for prayer, if you will, after your inspiration, if you get ready for prayer, if you will acknowledge it, then we will all stand, and then following the prayer, we will have the pledge. All right? Thank
Good
you, sir.
morning,
Bishop
Mr.
Sills.
Chairman and council, to our commission and to everyone who's present. I promise to be very, very brief. I think if you're brief enough, people will remember. 1762, young man by the name of Charles Wesley, while residing here in Savannah, came from England to be a catalyst for the Methodist Church, penned a hymn that is known in so many African-American churches. That hymn is a charge to keep I have a God to glorify. One little line in that hymn that I live by daily, and that is, to serve this present age, my calling to fulfill. This commission is tasked, I believe, in such a momentous time in the history of Chatham County, where the economic boom is bursting at every seams. Just want to remind you that it's our charge that we've got to serve this present age. As a preacher of the gospel, I'm a servant. And as elected officials, you are servants. And sometimes we just have to be reminded that it is our task, that we've got to serve the people that's in our care. The most interesting part is what we do today doesn't just bless tomorrow, but it affects the next 50 years. And so I want to encourage you to remember, regardless of political party, regardless of ideologies, beliefs, we are to serve this present age. And if we do that, then we have fulfilled our calling. We can stand and pray. We come today thanking you for life, health, and strength. Thanking you today, oh God, for closing us in our right mind and trusting us with the activity of our limbs, that if we can help somebody as we travel along, if we can cheer somebody with a word or a song, if we can show somebody that they're traveling wrong, then our living shall not be in vain. Father, we ask today that you will bless this chairman and this commission, that you will give them the strength to do what they have been tasked to do, that you will give them the heart of mankind and the emotions to remember those who are less fortunate and even those who have the ability to stand on their own. For Lord, when we have done the best that we can on this side, we want an eternal security that when this life is over, we'll hear you say, well done. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Adams? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Bishop Sills, let me say it is a pleasure again to have you come before us and to bring to us our inspiration and our prayer, and prayer of encouragement and the inspiration of encouragement. And did we get it? All right, we didn't. We will make sure you get that certificate of appreciation because we can't pay you, but we sure appreciate you taking the busy time of your busy schedule to come and to bring forth those things to us today. Thank you and God bless you. Roll call.
Chester A. Ellis, Chairman.
Present.
Helen L. Stone, District 1, Vice Chairman. Kenneth A. Adams, District 8, Chairman Pro Tem.
Present.
Jean Brown Rivers, District 2.
Present.
Bobby Lockett, District 3.
Here.
Patrick K. Farrell, District 4.
Here.
Tanya Milton, District 5.
Present.
Aaron Whiteley, District 6.
Here.
Dean Kicklighter, District 7.
All right, thank you, and I'll call on Commissioner Milton at this time for our introduction of our youth commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to introduce to you our youth commission for today. We just have one here today, and that's Ms. Kamora Swinton. Kamora is a senior at Beach High School, and she's applying for college, and she has an interest in nursing, and I told her she will always be employed. But while you're here, we want you to indulge in all of the conversation that we're going to have today. And if you have any questions, please ask. But we are glad that you're here and hope that you learn a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Call on Mr. Manager for our introduction.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to ask our Human Resource Director, Ms. Smalls, to come forward. We're going to introduce our new Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Administrator for Chatham County. It's a new initiative that we've got, and hopefully it'll make what we do here in Chatham County a lot better. So I'm going to ask Ms. Smalls to come to the microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Good morning, Chairman
morning.
Ellis. Good morning, Commissioners, and that was our former HR Director, Mr. Kagor.
Proud of retired.
Yes. So I'm happy to be here this morning. As Mr. Kagor said, Chatham County is implementing its first, really, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, or DEI, program. One of the primary goals of the DEI program is to impact both the internal workforce and the external community by creating awareness and improving the culture within Chatham County. So the aim is to help our departments and the communities they serve to provide services more equitably, with more inclusivity, and to view their service delivery and their programs through a DEI lens. So where DEI programs exist, we know that organizations can expect to see better recruitment and retention of staff. They see improved workplace relationships and trust. They also see enhanced employee engagement and relationships, and a broader perspective and constituent understanding. So to that end, the county has hired its first DEI administrator, and I'd like to introduce you to her to you today. Ms. Freya Huffman has over 16 years of experience in the DEI space in various industries and occupations, including information technology, manufacturing, higher education, and human resources payroll administration. Freya is a native of Burke County, Georgia. She holds a master's degree in business and information technology, as well as a national certification in DEI. Now, we had an outstanding applicant pool for this position. But I would tell you, Freya stood out among all the other candidates because of her strong focus on inclusivity and collaboration, as well as her ability to build relationships across all levels of an organization. Now, she's been here, maybe a month, and has already hit the ground running. She has been meeting with various departments to learn more about them and about their needs and how she can serve them, and she's already started delivering training in DEI. So with that, Freya will tell you more about herself as well as about DEI, and I would like to present to you Freya Huffman.
Greetings, Mr. Chairman and
Good morning.
esteemed commissioners. Excited to be here. And some of you I've met along my interview journey, so I want to just say thank you. I'm so humbled to be here and to have made it here. My background, I am from Waynesboro, Georgia, and I went to college at Claflin University there on a basketball scholarship, so I love sports and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have to always put that in there. We just came from Columbia, South Carolina. My husband's a retired Air Force chief, and that was the last place he landed. And my background has allowed me to work in the field of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I like to put all three together because many times we get stuck on just the diversity, but we're looking at all three, and there's some other words like belonging as well. And it's so important, and I'm just so excited to be here as your inaugural person in this role, bringing corporate experience, also community experience as well. My goal is to get ready for my rhyming words, cultivate, educate, and collaborate, and also celebrate what we're doing here in Chatham County. Chatham County is near and dear to me because I frequent here so many times a year, and my mom told me I may love it because we lived here for 9 months when my dad used to build homes, so when I was a young girl. And as Ms. Carolyn stated, I just want to say thank you so much just for getting me here, Mr. Kegler as well. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and also our great HR team for recruiting and putting it out there and using systems and technology to find great talent. I'm here to support that as well. And I'm here as I've already started working with different teams. Ms. Cooper in the accountability course and had an opportunity to train there. Also, Ms. Mosley and her great team as well, as we discuss diversity of communications. So again, I'm here to, as you can remember, cultivate, educate, collaborate, and celebrate, and work with you in understanding more about diversity, not what we think. There's so many levels. There are different levels to diversity. I want to explain those, share those. It touches many areas, business, also the community, mental health, ableism, you name it. That's diversity. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity.
There is one hidden reason they hired you, and I'm gonna blow them out the water.
Okay.
all right? How many of y'all see what I see? I'm talking to the commissioners now. Y'all look. What y'all see?
Some pearls,
Some pearls.
Pearl, no.
AKA.
I wish she was at work today so I could bring her in here. That's the spitting image of Danielle.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Wake up, y'all! Wake up! She's the spitting. See, you haven't met Danielle yet. You see what I'm saying? Y'all see what I see?
Wow, I gotta say
Not
it.
double.
Mr. Chairman, one of the things that I will say to the board as we embark, in rolling this program out, we will be providing, updates to the board on our efforts. So I think this is a step in the right direction for us. We want to make sure everyone in our community, no matter race, creed, color, whatever, everybody's included. Everybody will feel a sense of belonging as we go out on our mission serving the public here in Chatham County. So we will be providing updates and we're looking for bigger and better things to come. So, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, she's doing workshops and things, that's what she was telling you, she's hooking up. But I want to make sure that we do from PIO, all right, those in the audience who are listening to me, I want to make sure that we get this story out as to, this is the first time ever.
And they have, matter of fact, they've done a video that will be posted.
Right.
So we'll share that with the community. Yes, sir.
Chatham County is embarking on, and this is a product of, whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not, this is a product of the One Chatham, to make sure that everybody is included. So we have somebody now in our HR department who's going to be right at the crust and right at the threshold of getting that done. And listen, I'm just so happy to have you in here, and it's like the other commissioners, I want to confess, this is the first time I saw you, and when you stood up back there, started walking, I said, Danielle hiding back there?
I have to meet her.
Yeah, definitely have to, we have to get you to see Miss Danielle as soon as she gets back off of her medical leave.
Okay.
But we look forward to you working with us working with you, and we working with the community
Yes, sir.
to make sure that we get the DEI up, running, and going forward, being very successful with it. Again, I say welcome and greetings, and you picked a good place. Your husband will probably enjoy retirement here too, but tell him we ain't gonna let him sit home.
Okay.
Because he's from the military.
Military and ministry.
So he's got some stuff to offer, all right? So and since he's in ministry, one of the first people I'm gonna get him to introduce you is Bishop Sills.
Okay.
All right, because interdenominational
Right.
can definitely use folks in that as well. So again, let me say thank you and welcome you, and I'm glad you got the job.
Thank you so
Amen.
much. I really appreciate it. Look forward to
Alrighty.
working with everyone.
She wants to get a picture.
Oh.
See, the camera popped on, the light popped on, so.
We're far away from Hamps and the Burke County Bears.
She want to say something? Oh, okay. Try to figure out how to do it. All right, let me call now to the podium now SEMA Director, Director Jones, who will be here to receive this proclamation of the faith-based. And it does good because at this time that we're receiving the proclamation about faith-based, we have the president of the IMA here who, we need to make sure they are a part of what's going on. But the proclamation reads, the County of Chatham, Georgia. Proclamation, whereas faith-based organizations within Chatham County are providing essential service to help members of our community find hope during their time of need, and statistics show that 60% of Americans will first report to their religious leaders for advice, direction, following a disaster or a personal crisis. And wherein Chatham County, located along the southeast United States, makes our community valuable to a wide range of natural and man-made threats, and Chatham County has been directly impacted by emergencies and disaster. Now therefore, I, Chester A. Ellis, Chairman, on behalf of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 26, 2023 as Faith-Based Emergency Preparations Day in Chatham County, and urge all faith-based organizations and affiliates in Chatham County to participate in disaster preparedness activities, review and enhance preparations efforts by understanding the risks to our community and know what to do to mitigate damages and increase resiliences. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hands and caused the seal of Chatham County, Georgia, to be affixed this 20th day of October 2023. Director Jones is in your hands.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Thank you for recognizing this date as an emergency preparedness date for our faith-based community. We've been doing this for 5 years now, and it's a good predecessor to this particular proclamation was the introduction of Ms. Hoffman doing DEI. This is a DEI effort that we try to make sure that we have diversity, inclusion, and make sure we get as many faith-based partners from a variety of different denominations to come together and to learn about emergency preparedness. So again, this is our 5th year doing that. And in the proclamation, it states that 60% of Americans will first report to their religious leaders to get advice. We have found that to be true. That is a national statistic. And also, the faith-based organizations help communities. We found that to be true as well. So our job as emergency managers is to give them the resources in which they can assist their parishioners. They can assist those who come to them asking for advice, asking for that assistance. So that's why we started 5 years ago offering this faith-based summit, so that we can do our part to ensure that we are educating our faith-based leaders on how to go about doing that and some other resources that are potentially available to them throughout the community. We tap into a variety of different topics that they traditionally may not have exposure to. For this particular summit, we are bringing in Director Sarhat with CNT. He's going to be talking about the opioid epidemic. We are bringing in the Mediation Center to talk about de-escalation techniques, if they come across those. We are bringing in the Homeless Authority to talk about strategies to reduce homelessness. And I'm also going to bring up Kayla Reynolds. She is a Savannah State graduate. She was going to put on orange pants this morning, but she got dressed in the dark, so she picked the wrong color. But also recognizing that it is homecoming week for Savannah State.
Homecoming.
So I'm offering up for Kayla to give a little bit more information about what we're doing on the 26th, and then we'll close it back out. Kayla?
Good morning, everyone. So also during our faith-based summit, we will also be providing information about the Nonprofit Security Grant Program. I actually just attended the webinar yesterday through FEMA. And then also we will hear information from the Coastal Empire Disaster Recovery Committee on how your houses of worship can get involved in supporting our community after a large-scale emergency. And we will also have lunch provided from the Salvation Army Canteen. Thank you.
So we've got a full day of activities for our faith-based leaders. We are doing it at the Coastal Botanical Gardens, so it is a neutral site. So we encourage all faith-based organizations to get engaged. Come spend a day with us, learn about a few things, take away some information in which you can implement within your congregation, and just learn. That's what we're trying to do, is just get information out to our faith-based communities, making sure that they have the information they need to prepare their facilities as well as prepare their staff and their attendees. So again, thank you, sir, for offering this and recognizing this for the past 4 years now.
And thank you for what you do and how you do it. And let me say it's a good day because Bishop Seals is here and Ms. Hoffman is here. And I want to make sure that you all exchange information, all right? Because let the Director Jones, because there are resources that can be brought that IMA needs to know about, okay? That we've made it available in the past, but I want to make sure they are aware of what's going to happen on the 26th, all right? And have as many of the pastors and ministers that's in IMA to be a part of what's going on so that we can help. Again, thank you for them, because they do a good job, and she's not bashful anymore.
Yeah, she's getting better.
She's getting better at it. Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. Do the faith-based need to register, and where, if they do, where do they register at? Good question.
We do like to collect the registration just so we know how many people are going to be there, so we can plan for food. Registration is done through our website, chathamemergency.org, or it's a simple phone call to our office, 912-201-4500, and we'll get them on there. So it's not a complicated process at all. And again, it's just the checks and balances for us, so we can make sure that we have plenty of provisions to support everybody.
Thank you, sir.
See, that's why I wanted to make sure he got his contact information to Bishop Seals, so Bishop Seals can get it out to all of his members of IMA, because that crosses all the different faiths in there. All right, one of our biggest members that we have in there is Rabbi Hoss. And let the rabbi, you know, he's a stand-up comic.
He is.
So
He
we
is.
have a good time when he's in there, all right? Thank you again so much. Let me take this time now before I go any further. Let me make sure I cover this because I should have done it right after the commissioners and the youth commissioners. The constitutional officers who are here, let's recognize the sheriff, all right, who is in attendance, and also our clerk and who runs things over there. Is there any other? Okay, no. All right, now we can move on. Now, it's in your hand, Mr. Manager, Service Awards.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to call up our Human Resource Representative that's going to introduce our employees who are receiving their service awards on today.
All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So, Bishop, I want to thank you for your words this morning. They play very well into what we're doing today. You stated, what we do today blesses tomorrow. And you are sharing a row this morning with 6 individuals from Team Chatham who collectively bring 90 years of experience with Chatham County, 90 years of service and dedication to Chatham County among the 6 of them. So we are here to show our gratitude to them this morning and let them know how much we appreciate their time and their dedication. So we're going to get started. Showing gratitude to Miss Robin Duncan. From the Clerk of Superior Court with 25 years of service.
Yeah.
Miss Deborah Dixon from Juvenile Court with 15 years of service. Ms. Raquel Page with State Court. With 15 years of service. Ms. Shasta Haynes with the Detention Center with 15 years of service. Ms. Corinne Nettingham from the Board of Assessors with 15 years of service. Mr. Ricky Owens with our Henderson Golf Course with 5 years of service. Thank you all for your time, dedication, and service. Team Chatham appreciates you.
At this time, Mr. Manager, if you will go back to the podium. As we get ready to read this proclamation, and I told her it was mixed emotions that I do this. But let me call up Ms. Carolyn Smalls. The County of Chatham, Georgia proclamation. Whereas the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, with the utmost pride and appreciation, acknowledge the retirement of Carolyn A. Smalls after over 40 years of professional work experience, including more than 20 years as a human resource professional executive. And whereas Carolyn has her employment with the Chatham County government in September, began her employment with the Chatham County government in September of 2013 as a human resource director, where she provided leadership to a staff of 14 human resource professionals, in addition to services on the county executive team. And whereas her wealth of knowledge ensured the provisions of human resources service to the county, included recruitment and hiring, benefit administration, comprehensive administration, employees relationship, performance and management, and discipline and workforce development. Now therefore, I, Chester Ellis, on behalf of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby congratulate Carolyn A. Smalls upon her retirement, having reached a milestone that's significant at the peak of a rewarding career and the beginning of a new chapter in her life, one we hope is even more rewarding and fruitful. In witness whereof, I here to set my hands and cause the seal of Chatham County, Georgia, to be affixed this 20th day of October 2023. Ms. Smalls, the mic is yours, and then after you, then I'll let the commissioners. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that. I am very thankful for the opportunity to have served as Chatham County's Human Resources Director for the past 10 years. This was 10 years in a career that spanned over 40 years. But I must tell you, I saved the best for last. I sincerely say that my time at Chatham County has been the most fulfilling and rewarding of my career. And you know, so it's really an honor and a pleasure to go out on such a high note as that. It's been a pleasure to serve Chatham County. I really value the trust and the confidence that department managers and employees placed in me to help them solve their problems and achieve their goals. But I want to thank you, the Board of Commissioners, for your support over the years of various HR programs and benefits. The programs and services that you approved and supported. You helped keep our wages and our benefits competitive. You helped improve the quality of life and well-being for our employees. And you helped make Chatham County an employer of choice. So I want to thank you for your support over the years. I want to thank Michael Kegler for hiring me and placing confidence in me to lead the HR department. Michael has been a strong teacher and a mentor to me over the years, and I really credit him with helping to get my career off to a good start. He told me in my job interview, I know you don't remember this, but he told me in my job interview, we take care of our employees. And I really took that to heart, and I never forgot it. And I hope that I have helped to maintain a strong culture of caring for our team members at Chatham County. I really feel good about what we've accomplished here. I am very proud of the HR team. They are rock solid professionals. They really care about what they do, and they really understand the importance of providing great service to departments and employees. So again, I thank you so much for this proclamation and for this recognition today. It has really been a pleasure to work with you and to serve you.
Board members? All right. Commissioner, why don't we do this? Why don't I just start at the end with Commissioner Stone, and then we just move right on down the line, okay? All right.
Good idea. Thank you so much for your dedication to the county and to all the people that you've worked with. And I wish you a very happy retirement, and I hope that you will get to do things that you are looking forward to and have been looking forward to. So enjoy this time with your friends and family.
Thank you.
My heart is really, really heavy because you were one of the first persons that I met after my husband passed. This team that you had over there in the Human Resource Department really, really touched my heart. I was in tears, and they said to me, "It's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay." I never realized how okay it was going to be until I got in this environment. Everybody on your team and in this environment has been super, super loving and supportive to me. I hope you enjoy your retirement. I thought I was going to enjoy mine too. However, you never know what the dream that the Lord gives you is going to be. Not your dream, but the dream that He gives you will sustain you and take you further than you can ever imagine. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Smalls, thank you for your service. Thank you for your professionalism. It's been a pleasure working with you, and we wish you the very best. Stay healthy.
Thank you.
I echo the sentiment of all that's been said here today, and appreciate all the good work you've done for all the employees here in Chatham County, and your professionalism and your guidance. Even the board of directors need some guidance from your office and from you. So I thank you and wish you the very best with your retirement, and hope you have a lot of good years ahead of you.
Thank you.
It's my turn. I just want to say thank you for all that you've done. You paved the way, you kind of made things easy, and you were easy to talk to, and you put me in the right direction. And now that you're retired, you know, we had a couple of conversations about what we might do later on in life. So I'll call you. But good luck.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Smalls, we really appreciate your service to the county, and I just got to say, just your level of professionalism is unmatched. I know we've had some interesting conversations, you know, and just how you carry yourself is really a model for the professional that we need in our community. So thank you for your service, because I know being the HR director of Chatham County, especially in these challenging times, it hasn't been easy, but you stayed the course and really made a lot of things happen for our community. So we appreciate you, and I hope you enjoy your retirement, and here's to waking up late and going to sleep later.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smalls, for all your good work. You were one of the first people I met when I came here. It's been a pleasure then. It's still a pleasure. I just want to wish you the best. And one question, retirement. How can you retire this young? We still need you. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
And last but not least comes me. And you know it's bittersweet with me with this, and we've had that conversation. But I want to tell you something you did not know. You know, remember we were at your retirement reception? You didn't see me over in the corner with your husband, right? Yeah. You saw me in the corner? Right. I was getting permission. And I want you to know he gave me permission to call you on your cell phone, all right? So I conspired against you to get your cell phone number so that I can keep you on speed dial, because you have been an invaluable part of the administrative team here, all right? The expertise, the knowledge, as well as just the calm, smooth demeanor that you carry about yourself, all right? And you know, when they say that old saying that says, big thing come in small packages, you exemplify that, because I mean, it was truly, you know, and I see the employees nodding their heads, so I know I'm not the only one on that page. But I just hope that your retirement is everything you want it to be and more. And the good thing about it, though, is you're not gonna get a honey-do list. All right. I talked with you when I was talking with your husband. I said, "Now you know you can't get no honey-do list, right?" And so he said, "No." So I hope that you do all the traveling you want to see, all the sights you want to see, and just enjoy yourself and enjoy, because we have enjoyed being here with you and working with you in these years that I've been on this commission. Thank you again so much for the job you're doing. Job well done.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Mr. Manager, any final words?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I can remember when County Manager Russ Abel sent me and Linda out to get a human resource director, and we looked, you know, far and near. We looked at Tallahassee. We looked everywhere, but you know what we had was right here, and I am really pleased at the decision we made. And as you know, all the board members have said that you know we really treasured Carolyn's counsel, the way she carried herself, and it's been a joy to work with her. I know the county attorney has a few words he wants to say, but what we do here, impacts a lot of lives, and the decisions we make on personnel issues and how we treat people, that really impacts how the services that we provide to the citizens of this county. So, although we tried everything we could to get her to stay, she's finally go ahead and retire. But we really, we really can't say enough as to how much we've appreciated working with her and the level of professionalism she brought to the job. So, thank you.
Ms. Kramer?
I could say a whole lot, but one thing I will say, Carolyn, it's been great working with you. You are so reliable. You're so conscientious about your work. Anything you give me or any reports you run for us, I had full confidence they were correct. And Lee used to joke about he called her Carolyn Word Smalls, because she and I were kind of the grammar people. When we go through and look at the agenda items, I guess we both had good English teachers. But she and I and Danielle really would, anything you sent me, I'd be like, oh, okay, I don't have to look for commas and, abbreviations and stuff in here, all the sentences, service sentences, that kind of silly stuff, but stuff that takes a whole lot of time to review before it gets to you all, because, we have a high standard for quality here, and Carolyn definitely was quality and a great person to work with, so good luck to you.
Thank you, Linda.
Mrs. Lloyd?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Carolyn is a very accomplished practicing attorney, and before we got her, she was with one of the very finest law firms in Atlanta that did employment law, and I know the guys she worked with, and they saw a lot of things, did a lot of things, so when we got her, we got us a very well-qualified human resource director. And it has been my experience in the 10 years working with her. We're into a lot of things with a lot of departments doing a lot of different things, and we see a lot of different things. But when Carolyn wouldn't call you, that was great, because you knew it was taken care of. And when she did call you, you knew you better put on your A game, because she wasn't going to be asking you a question that was simple. It was something that she had worked through before she called you. And so by the time she called you, she had the facts, and she also had what she had figured out the options to be. And by the time we finished one or two conversations, we had pretty well narrowed what we intended to do. And it's very, very rare that her options did not suit the situation she was in, and she sure did make our job a lot easier. And I'm going to resent the fact that we'll probably have to do a little more work now that she's gone. But I am not going to hold a grudge. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I think that's one of the things that escaped a lot of us as we were dealing with you, the fact that you were a lawyer, and you were accomplishing a practicing lawyer. So we knew that when you gave us advice or gave us, like you would say, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but here's what the law says. And that was the extra bonus in what we were doing. And again, it's bittersweet, but we bless you and thank you so much for all that you've done.
Thank you.
All right?
So you got a cell phone?
I got a cell phone. I don't have a cell phone. I got a number. Yeah. want me to? That's how it rubs off.
That's right.
So now you're gonna stay?
You're still working on it. Still working on it. Still trying to get it in. Okay. We don't have any chairman's items nor commissioner items, no table items. We come to agenda items for individual action. Request approval of the following budget amendments and transfers fiscal year 2023. One, in the general fund, A, transfer $756 from contingency to department budget as listed in attachment 1. B, transfer $93,201 from contingency to transfer out to the child support fund. 2, in the child support fund, A, increase transfer in from the general fund $93,201. B, decrease state revenues $84,824. C, increase department budget $8,377 as listed in attachment 1. 3, in the special service district, increase revenue expenditures $114,581 for transfers in from hotel motel fund. 4, in the hotel motel fund, A, increase revenue $216,162. B, increase transfer out to the special service district $114,581. C, increase expenditures as listed in attachment 1. 5, in the general fund M&O, special service district, special revenue, internal service, capital improvement, and enterprise fund, increase revenues and expenditures as documented on the resolution fiscal year 2024. In the general fund, transfer $25,000 from contingency to resiliency operations. 2, in the multi-grant fund, A, increase revenue and expenditures $75,200 for the Department of Natural Resources Coastal Incentive Climate Change Code Review Grant. B, increase revenue and expenditures $40,826 for the Supplemental Criminal Justice Coordinating Council Committee Data Platform Initiative Grant. C, increase revenue and expenditures $10,500 for the Georgia Emergency Management Agency K-9 grant. D, increase revenue and expenditures $39,151 for the Criminal Justice Coordination Council Work Readiness and Enrichment Program. 3, in the Special Service District, transfer $51,000 from engineering operating account to temporary salaries. 4, in the SPLOST 3 fund, transfer project funds as listed in attachment 5. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Been properly motion and second that the request be granted. Are you ready for the question? All in favor signify by your vote. There it is. All right, we woke it up. Thank you. All right, now we hear from Director Serhat.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. So
just get this going here. So we've had a couple of months. We're moving right along. You know, on the enforcement side, you can see the numbers in the packet. I'm very pleased with what we have going on enforcement-wise. So we're still 10 agents down, which is, you know, about 25%, but we seem to be handling that just fine. I think we'd be pretty dangerous if we get topped off with manpower. You know, we're still all over this fentanyl issue, and so right now, as it stands in the county, we're at 73 overdose deaths this year alone. Last year, we were at 57, so we've already exceeded that number, and you know, we still have couple months, 2.5 months left with the year. So, you know, the average age of kind of what we're seeing is still hovering in between like a 25 and 35 range. So we're really not seeing that number dip down here locally, which is good. Here it is. There it is. So very excited about this. We're putting the finishing touches on the adult drug awareness trailer. I hope to have it done by mid next week, and maybe we can get it down here and show everybody. So we're gonna really spend a lot of time getting this out into the community. It'll give us an opportunity, rather than to get people to come to us, we can go to them, which I think is going to be key. So, and I just love that. Drop the F-bomb, talk to your kids about fentanyl. So it's going to be good. So coalition building along the lines, with the opioid settlement funds, you know, we had 3 or 4 programs that we had put in place and did MOUs. So the MOU is obviously in place with the Savannah Chatham Public School System, and they've already identified the 6 individuals, and they're already in the program to be trained up as licensed practicing counselors, which is going to be huge for the school system. That'll really beef up their abilities to assist the kids, identify, maybe earlier on if a child has a problem or heading down the wrong path. So I'm excited about that. The 2 dual diagnosed medical doctors, the MOU with Gateway, they have been identified, they're in place, and that program is up and running. And then I spoke at the Savannah Chatham Public Schools workshop last night, and a part of that was talking about the program that we want to put in with peer influencers, which we're going to take the high school kids, train them up, and then send them into the middle school. So that is moving forward. Logistically, that's a pretty heavy lift for the school, and so it's taking a lot longer to get that off and running. But we're still moving forward with that. And I really think that's going to be a game changer once we get that program up and running, because then we get the high schoolers on board, and I just think that's going to be a good program. But it is a hard one to get off and running. So our tactical teams, we've been working hard, because a lot of the ODs are happening out at 204 and Abercorn. 204 and I-95 area, that corridor right in through there. And so we've been making a lot of arrests and working out that way. So we've been a little bit ahead of the curve there. And then in the Westlake area, there was some problems. We started working that pretty hard. And as you can see there, that's, we're talking, marijuana, fentanyl, methamphetamine, scales, pills, you name it, guns, all in that one bag. So once again, we're really worried about cross-contamination.
I think you got a question from the
Yes.
youth commissioner before you.
I think the mentor
project is a really good idea, but being someone that's like in the actual environment of the other children, I feel like it's harder to mentor people who already have a mindset that they don't want help. So I was trying to see how would that work, like using other children to help kids who don't want help.
Well, I think I understand that, and, I think the idea here is, to identify, some high schoolers, that, that would want to be a part of the program, and then the idea is to get into the middle schools and not specifically target individual kids, but to target the whole class. And hopefully to get to those kids early on before they go down the wrong path. And more of a, hey, this is what we're going, we're in high school, this is what we've seen, this is what we went through. And I think they'll relate better to them than to me or to anybody on my staff.
And that's also true among peers, among children themselves. There are some children who can reach other children.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do now is to get all of them into peer mentoring so that someone I may not be able to talk to, you may be able to talk to, or somebody you might know a friend that you talk to the friend, and then the friend talk to that person that needs the help. And so it's got to be a collaborative thing, all right? And so when you get total resistance, all right, then what we say to kids who've been trained is don't pressure it, because all you're going to do is make an enemy more than you make a friend. But we are trying to get folks to know, all right? Knowledge is key, and that's where we're working towards that as far as the mentoring is concerned. Commissioner Lockett had a question for you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, how is our local statistics comparing to national statistics?
I'd say it's probably about average, maybe a little below. We have not hit critical mass, and we're working, trying to not even get there.
Good.
There are other counties across the country that are 5-6 times worse off than we are. It's bad.
That's good to know.
It's bad, but I think that, a combination, and I've always said that it's not a one-stop shop. This is not, okay, here's the silver bullet. The silver bullet is we gotta do the education with the kids. We need to get out as the director with the trailer to educate the parents, and then the next is law enforcement, and I've been doing that my entire adult life since I've been 25 years old, so I know how to do that, and that's all my people do. And then after that, you've got the recovery and that angle, which is why we put in the LPCs and the dual diagnosis, and then the back end, heaven forbid, we've got the self-help group that meets once a month, that their family members, they've lost one to an overdose death, and it's a totally different grieving process. It is. I attend those meetings once a month, and it's, in my opinion, it's different than losing someone in your family to a natural death or a car accident or any other thing. There's such a stigma with this, and there's some shame, which people don't really understand, that the addiction is so, it just grabs a hold of you, and so the family, is, it's not the family's fault, but getting people to work through that and understand the addiction and understand and how it just took that person over, it's difficult. So, I think within the county, and, you know, you see got the BH, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people in the county that, you know, Recovery Place, Gateway, you know, I think we're set up pretty well, you know, to have an attempt, you know, to keep this number from skyrocketing like it is national. Yes, sir.
Kind of an off-the-wall question, but do you see any influence of the illegal drug market and the homelessness that's skyrocketing
Yeah, it's
apparently
rampant.
in our
It's
in our
rampant.
county?
Yep.
Is there a correlation between those, or are those just two
Yeah, I
separate
mean,
issues?
you know, and I am not an expert at homeless. You know, so, you know, I don't want to say anything that, you know, give anybody the opinion that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the homeless, okay? But we've had cases that, you know, we get information, I mean, that's where a lot of this stems from. And the addiction is to spiral down. So
A lot
so-
of
so
the
those
addictions
people-
or the sales and transactions?
Yeah,
or-
well, and there's a lot of that going on, but, you know, you got a lot of people that they want to be homeless. And, you know, that's their means of income, or that's, you know, so, you know, it's not good in those, within the homeless community. And I think a lot of people that started out, that, you know, I think if you could really go back and start researching it, you know, not a lot, I mean, several of those people that they're homeless because of the addiction. So you're already in a downward spiral, and next thing you know, you're homeless, and then it keeps going, but the addiction is so strong that, you know, and so somebody's always going to try and make money, you know. But yes, it is prevalent with that community.
All right, Commissioner.
Is that through, I mean, they homeless and they got money? I mean, I know that we got the people that stand on the corner that ask for money.
No, you know, I mean, you know, when you get into those types of communities, you know, maybe cash isn't the bartering system. I mean, you know, I mean, there's other, you know, things that get bartered for.
Okay.
You know, but once again, I am not an expert on that community, and you know, how about those Lions? I'm just saying, go Lions.
So go back to your last screen, the Westlake take.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that all one
Yes.
bus?
Yes, and that was
And you
within
said Westlake-
that geographical area.
Okay, you're not talking exactly the complex.
No, I just, you know, within that area,
Was that one particular bus, or was that a combination of several?
one shot.
What? Wow.
Did all that come out of that bag?
Most of it did.
That's why he's telling you about the cross-contamination.
Yeah.
Because there's fentanyl there.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and
Stuff
so,
in that little bag.
yeah, but see, that
Well,
fentanyl
it's a-
being
it's
there.
a to-go bag.
It
You know, you gotta go quick, you know, it's
Yeah.
all right there, go.
And so and the arrest was made.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And the drugs were seized.
The weapons are plentiful.
So, you know, we're continuing to seize pill presses. You know, so not only nationally, you know, are we seeing, you know, thousands of pills being shipped into this community through drug organizations. They are locally stamping their own pills laced with fentanyl. That is happening in this community on a daily basis. All right, so we had an overdose deaths call out, okay? And I'm gonna get on the marijuana bandwagon. It's a gateway drug, period. There's no question about it, all right? So CCPD was called out to do a welfare check. CCPD gets on the scene, they do the check, they find someone that had OD'd. They call us, we get out there, and that's what we seized. There's every type of marijuana product you could think in there. There's there's DAP, there's liquid, there's CDB, there's gummies. I mean, it was unbelievable what was in this house, and the individual, and you can see those pills. I should have blown this up. I apologize. You know, he died of a fentanyl overdose. All right? And then the other frame, that came out of that
Probably
house.
to the one to the left.
The
Nice
one to
out
the right.
one to the right.
That's all that weed that came out of that one all those two pictures came out of one location.
Grocery store.
It really is. But I'm here to tell you, it is a gateway drug. And I will fight that until I die. We also took the guns out of there too, just to put the icing on the cake. Emerging threats. Okay, very quickly. This desomorphine called crocodile is the street name, and basically it's another opioid, and it's usually intravenous. And what they mix that heroin or that drug with basically causes your skin to turn green and crack up to look like a crocodile. Okay? So it's basically eating your flesh from the inside. We've had one report that we thought we saw it, and it turned out not to be, but I thought I wanted to put it out there just as an emerging threat. And then the second thing in this alpha PVP is pretty nasty stuff. It's called Flocka, and we did see some of that, and that's a synthetic, you know, like the bath salts. And, you know, we start getting a lot of that stuff in here. We're going to start seeing people standing out in the street, middle of the street, naked, getting run over by cars because they're gone. Okay? So those are the things we're starting to see. We haven't really seen this crocodile just yet, but we thought we did have some. But so we're staying, you know, pretty in tune to that. This is what this looked like. It's also called gravel. It's been around for a while. I just pulled this off the website to give you an idea of what it looks like, but it is very nasty stuff. And that would conclude.
Commissioner Whiteley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Sarhat, we appreciate you in this presentation. I wanted to ask, what is the most common, with these overdose deaths, what is the most common method of ingestion of the heroin or fentanyl? Is it IV or is it via pills?
I don't think we're seeing the liquid injection as much as we're seeing, you know, either powder form where they're sniffing it or snorting it, or they're taking it orally, and these pills. I mean, remember now, about 80% of the illicit pills on the street contain fentanyl. And 60% of those have a fatal dose. So about, you know, between 44, 45% of all the illicit pills contain a fatal dose of fentanyl. And that's what's getting everybody.
Now with the
We're not even seeing heroin anymore. We're seeing straight fentanyl that's been cut when we see powder. I read the recaps, and, you know, talking to the TAC teams and, on a daily basis. And it's been a while since we've actually seized heroin.
Wow.
Because it's so much cheaper.
Now, I know in our last presentation, in your last presentation in reference to this, I think there was some discussion about the fact that fentanyl is, because it's a synthetic opiate, one of the main sources is potentially overseas. With that being said, have we seen any influx of fentanyl? I know we're seeing the influx of it in our community. Are we seeing it coming through our ports at any point?
The ports are a different beast. From the standpoint I guarantee it's going through the ports. all types of drugs are going, they're being brought in containers. And why we don't see it here as much, I can only think back, even when I was here as an agent for 10 years, there may only been 1 or 2 cases that were truly importation cases into the United States, and then that dope came into the port, was offloaded from that container, and then given to a drug organization here in Savannah, okay? I look at the port as a gas station on I-95. Container comes in, it goes on a truck, and it leaves. So those drugs that are in there, and they're there because they're everywhere. I mean, just common sense. There is not a physical body or someone within that organization here locally for us to work or for us to stumble on, or somebody to go, hey, I want to cooperate, here's what's going on. Because those drugs just flow right through here and keep going. Does that make sense?
Right.
So, I don't see where, now, we don't know everything, but we have a pretty good handle on just about everything. Could it be happening? Yes. But traditionally, we do not see drugs go into the port of Savannah and stay here locally and get distributed here locally.
Yes, sir. And my last question, as it relates to Flocka, I've seen, through social media and stuff like that, what it does to people who are taking it. And it's incredibly dangerous. With that being the case, you said that it's been seized here.
Yes.
But has that been something that's constant, or
No,
just kind of one of the first times?
Just new emerging threat. So we seized what we are fairly confident is that, and it's been sent to the lab.
Gotcha.
But it was enough for me to go, uh-oh,
Heads up.
I want to let you guys know.
Is there any training, when it comes to our police, I know that somebody who is on Flocka could present some similar indications of somebody who's experiencing a mental
Psychotic
crisis.
event.
Right, and so that being the case, is there any nuanced training that our police department should be getting in that?
I'm unaware of any specific training that that the officers would need based on just the Flocka. I think, the officers receive some type of training. I'd have to get with the departments because that's kind of not my bailiwick. I'm not a police officer. But I think they receive training on how to deal with, mental health issues that they come across with individuals. And the city's got the BHU unit, and it's my understanding we're propping up one with CCPD, which, we couldn't happen fast enough. And most of just about all your uniformed police officers are pretty sharp people. They know right away, uh-oh, here's what we're dealing with, and they that's what they do day in and day out.
Gotcha. Yes, sir. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions?
Yeah, the youth commissioner, Mr. Chairman.
Youth Commissioner, yes, ma'am. Tap it real easy. No. Tap it till it turn green. Don't press hard.
Don't hold the mic.
Is there anything besides like mental effects that makes it more obvious that it's a Flocka? Like, is there anything like erratic behaviors?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna see, I mean, you're gonna know right away. I mean, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. But any visual, like on their skin or what, I don't think so.
All right, any other questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Mandy.
Yes, sir. I want to highlight the trailer that the director had put up on the on the screen. He's gonna be rolling that out next week. I
Yeah.
think it'll be finished next week. We'll send out information on Monday. I think we're gonna be able to have it out at the sheriff's department in the parking lot on Thursday, is what I think we'll do. And we're encouraging all the commissioners to come through and kind of look at it, because it's designed to help parents, adults, kind of see what the, where drugs can be hidden in their home. It's a training tool. It's something that Director Sarhat's taken on the road. I'd encourage everyone to, go out and look at it, and so you'll be well versed on what we're trying to do in terms of our public outreach. So I'd encourage everybody to do that.
And as a part of that, will you try to schedule it one day, so it's right out front out here?
Yes, sir.
All right,
I'm
yeah.
hoping Thursday to be able to put it
Right out
morning
front
down-
out here.
Right
Mhm.
downstairs for you guys and
Yeah.
everybody, and we'll do a press release and all of that.
We've
And
got a
then the
whole lot
first-
of flow
Yeah, yeah,
of
and
adults
then the
going
first-
past here.
Yes, sir. The first public event, we're gonna put it for the trunk or treat
Okay,
with the sheriff's office.
okay,
And get it out there. I mean, I think they had almost 300 kids last year.
Right.
With all their parents, so we'll have a good, and those are the events that, we can really target the parents.
Are you talking about out of Lake Mary, right?
No, at the sheriff.
No, at the
the
sheriff.
sheriff complex.
At the sheriff's department.
Yeah, the sheriff has trunk or treat.
The county is doing a trunk or treat at Lake Mary as well, and that's Friday. So you might can do both.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Put it on the schedule.
Yep, I'll try and,
All right, any other? Thank you, sir.
all right, thank you very much.
At this time, it is time for a public hearing regarding the grant request to HUD for the pathway to removing obstacles to housing, the PRO project, all right? So, let me first do this now. Is there anyone here who want to sign up to speak on the HUD, grant that we are seeking? If you do, please come to the manager, all right, and sign up on the pad over there, okay? So now, all right, anyone, all right? Let me get a motion to, open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Probably motion and second that we, open into a public hearing. Are ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Okay. Public hearing is open.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Jennings is going to make some introductory comments on the grant, and then we'll entertain any questions.
Okay.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Morning.
So I have with me Aaron Carpenter, who is with the Coastal Regional Commission. As you all may recall, a few weeks ago, the county did sign a contract with Coastal Regional Commission to assist us in submitting or preparing the grant for HUD for the project called Pathways to Removing Obstacles for Housing. So I'm going to let Aaron hit some of the highlights, and then I'll come back up and answer any specific questions that you might have.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I'm going to briefly explain how this funding opportunity came about and talk about Chatham County's application and why we're having the public hearing today. So affordable housing has always been an issue, but especially in the past 3 years, it's become more acute. And as a response, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development has appropriated $85 million in competitive funding to help address some of the barriers to affordable housing. The name of this program is called Removing Barriers to Affordable Housing, or ProHousing for short. And this is to help communities address either planning needs, but also it can fund some implementation for construction projects. But specifically for Chatham County, here is a brief overview of some of the activities that the application is requesting investment for. In short, there's a couple of activities, one being a planning activity. We're requesting funding for a study countywide to look at the housing needs in the community. This will also review existing zoning ordinances and other ordinances that might impact affordable housing and its construction. So that's kind of the first activity, but the latter half of that will be also creating a work program for the county, a set of recommendations or implementation activities that communities can follow to help alleviate some of the barriers to affordable housing. Another component to this will also be some implementation activities to acquire property for the construction of affordable housing, acquiring blighted properties, and also offering some gap funding services to individuals who might have difficulty obtaining, either down payment assistance to acquire affordable housing. All of this will be done with robust community engagement. All of these activities will be informed with input from those in the community, stakeholders, and also there is an element where there's an evaluation at the end of the project to assess just how successful it was and hopefully share that with the communities. I think that touches on all the activities, and I believe, Tara, do you want to mention briefly the budget and what we're asking for?
So we are requesting $5,302,000. The grant does not require match, but because of some local opportunities, not only using staff time as in-kind, but also using some of the ARPA funds that you all had authorized for housing development, this is one project that we can use ARPA as match. Typically, you do not use a federal match to federal match, but this is one instance where that is allowed. So we plan to move forward with that. The other thing I will point out is that the grant would be anticipated award in January of '24, and it would go up until September of '29 for expenditures. We're doing the public comment today for people to give us that, but meanwhile, we also have it available on the website, and that is available through the 25th. And Aaron and his team, us and the PIO office, will work together to coalesce all those comments and input for the grant that is due October 30th. So we will not be bringing it back to you at that point, but we will be submitting. And then if we are selected, we'll be bringing back to the board whatever the funding award is for, with more specificity of what the projects will look like.
All right.
Pretty much all we have today.
Have we covered everything? All right. Do we have anyone to sign up?
No, sir.
All right, so may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Properly motion and second that the public hearing be closed. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. And like they say now, we'll be doing more of these public hearings and comments as we go along, after we receive the grant, though. You're right. We're gonna work now between the end of the month now is to get the application in and dot all the i's and cross all the t's. All right? Thank you so much. We are at the action calendar. May I have a motion to accept it in its entirety?
So moved.
I second.
Properly motion is second that the action calendar be accepted in its entirety. Are you ready for the question? Please signify by casting your votes. Okay. We don't have any first readers or second readers, which brings us now to the information section, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, Board. I'm going to ask our resiliency coordinator, Ms. Jackson, to come to the podium, and she's going to give a presentation on the proposed our solar energy pilot program. Ms. Jackson.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for letting me bring up the rear here. I know you have some other celebrations to get to, so I will try and be brief once again. Just wanted to come before you again this morning, let me get to the right page here, and give you a little bit more specific details on the proposed next steps with regards to sustainability for Chatham County. Let's see how there we go. Sorry about that. As I mentioned before, I was up here a couple weeks ago to talk about the resilience program and how we're growing that program. And just, again, want to take just a quick moment to remind really the board, but also the community as a whole, how Chatham County has been working over a number of years, actually, but is looking at these four main themes that you see before you and how they build off of one another to really build a framework that focuses around sustainability and resiliency for the community. And those are infrastructure and environment, leadership and strategy, health and well-being, and economy and society. And so similar actually to the efforts that you met Ms. Freya Huffman this morning, similar to diversity, equity, and inclusion, which, by the way, Freya is amazing. So I've worked with her thus far, and we're starting some efforts together, and she's really, really phenomenal. Side note. But DEI is really built throughout all of the different themes that you're seeing here as well as resilience and sustainability. They're not independent of one another, but instead they're mutually beneficial and build off of one another. And we're recognizing these efforts and have been really, as I mentioned before, for some time now within Chatham County. I noted this previously, but this has been around since 2007 when the board committed to creating the greenest county in the state. And I've committed to continue working down that road and developing and working on strategies to get us to that greenest county in the state. And for those who have been around for a little while on the commission, if you will, if you remember Dr. Henry Lewandowski, he previously worked on this effort for many, many years, and I worked with him on that way back in the day as well. So this, again, is a continuing effort for our community and for Chatham County as a whole. And, whoops. And again, as we continue to grow, a lot has changed over the past 16 years, but again, we need to find that balance of growth and then protecting the natural environment as a whole. So the proposal that we're talking about here today is really how do we start, I like to say, we believe our next logical strong step is for Chatham to walk towards the lights. That is the solar light, if you will, the sunlight. And we are bringing before you a method to start capturing that solar energy for our county-owned buildings, proposing to begin a request for proposal to ultimately enter into what's called a SEPA, or a Solar Energy Procurement Agreement. So we would go through this process, the RFP process, or request for proposal process, if you will, and ultimately allow us to capture solar energy and reduce our electricity costs and energy costs for Chatham County-owned buildings. So we're proposing that this RFP have some really strong components in it that will benefit the county, similar to entities such as, again, Atlanta, Macon, Bibb, Augusta, Clark County, as well as you're probably aware of, City of Savannah. And this contract, this RFP would go out and include proposals for, there would be no upfront capital investment by the county. There would be no long-term operations and maintenance costs for the county, and all the equipment would be owned and maintained by the vendor themselves. So with that, you're able to kind of see how the electricity and solar program would work, if you will. The energy company would own the system, and the county would pay the difference for the clean, renewable energy produced at that consistent competitive rate over the long period of time. So in essence, we would pay for each kilowatt generated at a lower price than what the current utility rate would be, and that would be for a long-term savings. So you'd see hundreds of thousands of dollars of savings over a period of time for the county. So again, we've been working internally for some time on this. I've been working with facilities maintenance, purchasing and contracting, risk management, and legal, of course, has been through much of the paperwork that we've been trying to figure this out along the way. But we'd like to move forward with this strong proposal and asking for some, again, very specific requests from the provider, but really also want to make this very community-centric for whatever vendor is chosen. We would like to start with that pilot program, as previously mentioned, with 4 county facilities, one of them being what we're proposing is a picture of the aquatic center and kind of what a superimposed solar to look like on some of that, maybe get us some savings on that location. And then, again, going back to that community-centric proposal, we have really been working very closely with City of Savannah and their staff, and they've been down this road for a little bit longer than we have. And they have adopted a solar program within the City of Savannah as well on their city buildings throughout the community. And I would really like to replicate a lot of the good work that they've done. They've hit some road bumps, but some of the greatest things that came out of, in my opinion, their approach was the community and workforce development side of that. One of the requirements that we would like to include in the RFP would be a requirement to include workforce development and job creation component of it at the local level, and have these folks that are interested in this program get OSHA training and get training, local training, to where they can learn how to implement and maintain these solar arrays, if you will. And let's see. Lastly, hold on, sorry about that. So again, just to kind of summarize it, we really would like to begin this process we're asking for your blessing to kind of move forward on the RFP process and support, if you will, for this endeavor to start this pilot program. And we fully expect this to be a really good process for the county and to see some real tangible savings over time. But again, we are proposing to include these 7 type of efforts in here: site consultation, the diligence in design, the permitting, the actual installation, and the monitoring would be included. We would be able to monitor the monthly, facets of that solar and savings and comparisons over time as well. And then it would include any improvements, and the workforce development, again, that key component would also be included in whatever vendor would be chosen through this RFP process as well. And that's pretty much it. We are, again, just kind of bringing this forward for you because this is it's a strong next step in sustainability for the county, and we want you to recognize that. But we also want the community to know what road we're walking down as a whole for us as well. So, any questions or
Anything
comments?
else?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I want to commend Ms. Jackson and her efforts on getting this program up and running for us. And I also want to say for Commissioner Rivers, the company that we first started working with, Cherry Street, was actually brought to us by former Commissioner Rivers. He had heard about this in one of the seminars he had attended, and he actually brought the company to us and kind of helped spearhead this. So I want to commend him for doing that, and I think it's going to bear fruit for us, particularly. And he was interested in the community and workforce development component of it. So I want to note that for you that he actually brought that to us.
Very true.
Anything? All right, let me do this then. Let me have a motion and a second that we add to the agenda, all right? Because you want us to give you permission to do the RFP.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's not on the agenda, so let's get a motion to add that to the agenda.
I so move.
Second.
Yes. Properly motion and second that the RFP for the renewable energy, is that what I'm calling it? All right, be added to the agenda. Are you ready for the question? Please signify by voting. Okay, now, I'm gonna read the summary, all right?
Okay.
All right, proposing to begin an RFP process for a renewable energy contract allowing the county to start a pilot program on 4 county facilities, all right? Need a motion for that.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I second.
All right, properly motion and second. Are you ready for the question?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
All right, question.
So, Mr. Manager, I heard you mention Cherry Street. Who are they and what are they doing in this process?
They were one of the firms that initially approached us about, because they do a lot of the community outreach. But what we're doing is we're opening it up to everybody. So we're doing a competitive process. Now, I think Cherry Street is working with the City of Savannah. We may not be working with them, but we're doing an RFP to open it up and get proposals. So it's open to anybody who can provide these services.
All right, and then I know that once this goes out, let's just say 2-3 weeks to get the RFP drawn up, what's the time frame before we look at this coming back before us to actually get the ball rolling?
It's going to be at least 60 days before we get it back to you for a vote.
Gotcha. All right.
Because the
I
RFP
can
process.
somewhat add to that if it's okay.
Don't the
I
RFP
actually-
process have to be out 30 days or 45 days?
Yeah, it'll be 30 days on the street, and then
Just to give you a
staff
line of what you're
evaluation, and that
talking
kind of
about.
thing.
Yes, sir.
I did the calculations running through them last night, kind of backing it up, and I'm estimating probably the first meeting in 2024.
Okay.
Around
Would
there,
be on the
assuming
back.
there's no
Right,
roadblocks,
snafus.
right.
Well,
right,
thank you for your,
January. Sure.
thank you for your efforts too, Ms. Jackson.
Thank
I know, starting something from scratch is not easy, so we appreciate you.
Very excited.
Commissioner Milton?
Thank you, Ms. Jackie. It's a little different from the aquifer you usually talk
I
about.
know.
But have you mentioned 4 county facilities. What are those facilities? other than
And
the-
I will say that our proposal, these are areas that we have kind of come up with, looking at where sun, is readily available, not shaded, roof types.
That's what I was gonna
those
ask,
type of
because
things.
we got trees all over.
Right.
And we have a tree canopy.
Yes, and we will not be taking down trees.
the
But, and I
tree
will
canopy.
say, in this RFP, those could change. So this would be a pilot of around 4. We would need the firm to come in and do that analysis. But looking internally, working with facilities maintenance, we are looking, as I mentioned, the aquatic center, the jail as one, because we would get a lot of sunlight here, juvenile court, and the citizen service center. And intentionally looking at aquatic center and the citizen service center because they are public facing. And we would like the public to know what, again, what sustainability road we've started walking down as the county. So we would have informational items there and possibly some signage and that type of thing.
And
But
you-
also, none of them are shaded.
Oh, that's what I
So-
was gonna ask, yeah, okay.
Right.
That's good.
And
That's
we've got
good.
all roofs that are in very good condition at those locations as well.
Well, Savannah has trees
come-
all over, and it makes
Yeah.
it difficult. They've been calling me, asking me if I wanted them on my house, but I have a tree canopy,
Right,
so it
right,
doesn't do
right.
me very well.
And the good thing with this is, again, these are county facilities that are gonna be owned by the county, obviously, for, hopefully for forever, long-term. So the investment is gonna be a strong one, for sure.
Good deal,
And we'll
thank
reap
you.
the benefits, yes.
All right, Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I might be getting a little ahead of things, but can we look at the future on having some charging stations for these facilities?
With
And-
electric vehicles?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha, yes,
Even
yes.
at our gyms and parks?
Absolutely.
Things like
That is
that.
another endeavor I'm working on currently right now as well. We are proposing to, and this is still very much in the works, we're proposing to start a pilot program with electric vehicle charging at our fleet facility. As of right now, we don't have any electric vehicles within the county for our staff necessarily. And we would like to start a program there, and then from there, once we get all of the kinks worked out, we will then take it outward facing, meaning that the general public can come and get, charge their vehicles at some of our facilities as well. But once we get it, kind of those kinks worked out internally, we will absolutely look at parks, aquatic center, those type of facilities for electric charging. And I'm definitely looking at grant opportunities for that as well. And pretty much any type of grant that we're applying for right now, we're trying to include those type of components.
Thank you.
All right, back to Commissioner Wiley.
Thank you for that. And Commissioner Adams, I completely agree. And I just want to add that I hope that when we do get into these charging stations, I don't know how we could work out the legal ramification that these become a revenue stream potentially for the county, because everything's going to electric. And so any way that the county can make some money off of that so we can lessen the burden on our taxpayers in some area, I'd really love that.
Okay, absolutely, totally.
And it starts out when we start purchasing electric vehicles for the county. All right? Anything else, Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir, and I was reminded that I really need to give a shout out to our project management team. Last week we converted over to a new CAD system, community dispatch system. We had no glitches. It was seamless. And matter of fact, on yesterday I met with a group of the fire chiefs from the various municipalities, and they had nothing but good things to say about the new CAD system. It's got to be tweaked. We're working out some bugs, but I don't think the public saw any disruption. So to implement a system of that nature that affects all 28 public safety agencies across the county is something that it was good. So I want to give a shout out to Mr. Lewis and his team for a successful rollout of the new CAD RMS system.
All right, Commissioner Farrell.
Thank you. Do you care to update us on the first responders on Skidaway Island? With the rollout, it coincided with some other issues that had to do with promptly getting our first responders notified on Skidaway Island. We have a unique group of professionals and volunteers that, well, they're all volunteers, but they try to get to whatever 911 call there is to lend assistance until the ambulance gets there. Normally, somebody that lives down the street or around the block can get there a little faster than a fire engine or an ambulance.
Yeah. We've still got that capability for folks who live at the landings. There's some issues that surrounding if you live outside of the gate. And so like a good quarterback, I'm going to hand it off to the county attorney so he can give you an update.
Throw you under the bus.
A good manager always lets
Throw him under the bus.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there's some issues involved, and there's some legal issues involved, and they're going to have to be worked through. The first responders at Skidaway have been an outstanding resource to that community, and I've lived out there for, I don't know, 25, 30 years now, I guess. And everybody respects them, and everybody believes in their service. But we don't make these problems. This is an issue that comes down from the state. And that is that if you're going to have a first responder organization, that you're going to go into people's houses and you're going to share their medical information and you're going to provide services to them in the house, then you're going to have to be certified by the state. And for many, many years, the first responders at Skidaway were licensed through CES, not necessarily because CES was the parent organization of them, but CES every year has to register all their vehicles, all their ambulances and fire trucks, all the things they have to do that relate to their services. And as a courtesy, basically applied and got the license every year and did the certification for them. In 2019, for reasons I'm not familiar with nor know, it was elected by the then first responder group to start taking that responsibility on themselves. Unfortunately, their license lapsed a number of years ago. I don't know the reasoning behind that, but it did. In the last audit that came down from the state, not created by the county or started by the county or for that matter CES, but just as a periodic, they were not certified under the licensing program and were told to get licensed. CES brought that to the attention at the time because they were going through their own certification and said this needs to happen, and we met with the Landings Association, who was cooperative with us, and encouraged them to encourage the first responders to do the steps necessary to be licensed. Part of the licensing procedure now is that you must go through a 40-hour course. And, you know, you've got people out there that are former RNs or LPNs, and you've even, my understanding, got a few people who are retired physicians on that board. And they apparently have a feeling within the organization that that licensing program was something that they were well qualified for and really didn't need to go through it, but unfortunately the rule says you got to go through it. So until they comply with that, they're not going to receive their license, as simple as that. I mean, y'all all know how many things we do at the county level that if we had a preference to, we think we've got a better system than the requirement of whatever organization's regulating it. But if that's the rule, you've got to follow the rule. So that's got to be addressed. The second thing is that the state now requires them to have a dedicated vehicle. And the dedicated vehicle needs to have insurance and needs to be owned by them. CES has offered a vehicle that they would give to them. they would have to carry the insurance on the vehicle, and CES would equip that vehicle. That did not apparently fit into their response plans. As a result of that, they don't own a certified vehicle of their own. My understanding is that TLA, the Landings Association, has also made a similar offer through the use of the security vehicle. Now, I don't know that firsthand or the details of that, but it has been, doesn't appear to be a controversy of whether they would do it or not. So they need to get them a vehicle, and they need to get the courses done, and they need to get certified. And when they do, they can be worked into the county system and/or security system or the TLA system to receive an additional notification. But as it stands now, they're not part of the CAD system due to the fact they're not certified. So it's a hurdle, but it's not an impenetrable hurdle. It's called going by the regulations and doing it. Now, they wish to have an exemption under that they feel that because they are there, they ought to have a right to be exempt. Well, they probably would have been exempt if they had kept their certification up because they could have claimed grandfather status. But when that lapsed, they lost that opportunity. Currently, they can enter the program and reach the certification, and we can go back to the way things are. CES has some issues that they have to overcome that they would need to get an address with insofar as, sharing the information with people who aren't certified or able to enter into a HIPAA agreement with them to become an affiliate. And my understanding is that once they get the certification, that those things could be worked through. I think the county's willing to do what they can do. I know CES has indicated they're even willing to see what they can do to provide the classes locally for them at no charge to them. I think the Landings Association would be willing to do anything that was, within their power to keep this organization running. And if they get certified, there's been a number of workaround systems that have been used before we had the CAD, just because there wasn't a system to deal with that. That could probably be restructured somewhat and put back in place to deal with that. But that's going to require them doing those things that are necessary to fit within that program. And I sincerely hope that that will happen, because they are a very fine organization, a very worthy organization, and there's no question they respond on time. And they're very diligent, and they're well-meaning and well done. So hopefully that resource will continue to be available. And if there are administrative things that need to be worked out, hopefully everybody will work together to work those out. That's it.
Got another follow-up question. You mentioned the first responders had requested an exemption, or they had come up with some legal language that indicated they might be exempt. My question is, what organization determines that exemption? Is it CES, is it the county, or is it the state of Georgia? Is it United States of America? Who?
Yeah, no, it's a situation in which the exemption is a statutory exemption, and they may qualify, but in order to know, the state will tell them whether they qualify or not, and that is administered by the state. That is not something the county can say, oh yes, we're going to certify you, even though we don't have any right to certify them. So they need to go through the procedure. They need to file for their exemption. They need to go up and meet with the people at the state. They need to explain their situation and say, what can we do to either get certified or be exempt? And once they do that, they'll get some information back. Now, I can't guarantee they're going to like everything they say, but they will at least know what they need to do.
So there is a clear pathway for them to
Sure. And
forward, they will
Yeah.
have to
go up there and talk.
make the
And see
initiative
what
to
you
do.
need to do and do it.
That's very helpful to clear
Thank
that
you.
up. There's a lot of talk and a lot of information being exchanged on Skidaway Island, and I think this was very helpful to put that out for the public consumption. So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
All right.
If I could chime in on that, to Commissioner Farrell, I understand, the situation you're in, and as one of the county's appointees on Chatham Emergency Services Board, I do want to just be clear, as our county attorney alluded to, Chatham Emergency Services has been nothing but good partners here, and they're pretty much saying whatever we need to do to make this work, they're willing to do. So I want to just kind of make that clear, because understanding all the challenges that we've been having with the fire and all that good stuff, fire fee, I think that in some cases, Chatham Emergency Services may get a bad rap in certain cases. But I can tell you, when it comes to this specific situation, this Chatham Emergency Services pulled out all the stops offered, as he said, vehicles, personnel, whatever it takes to make sure that those citizens on Skidaway Island are taken care of. And so I just want to highlight that because we could always talk about the bad, but we got to give people their flowers when they can smell them too.
All right, anything else? Yes, sir.
No, are you finished with that?
No, Ms. Rivers?
You said it was 19, which is correct. The state of Georgia came in with new procedures in 2019, and all organizations had to be certified, or your people that work for you had to be certified by January 1, 2020. If not, you would lose your license. You could retain your license, however, you would have to go through these classes that you had to take, and all your employees would have to go through the classes. I think its certification is going to be, I think they said it was 3 years you'll be certified, or 5, depending on the organization. But it all went into play January 1, 2020. You're
Thank
absolutely
you.
right.
All right, anything else along those lines? On the motion to?
RFP.
I thought we did. No, listen, no, that's all right. The clerk said we didn't. That ends that, all right? We read the proposal, now we need to go to motion. Please.
Well, there was a motion and a second.
A motion and a second, but we didn't vote. All right, all of the favor, please cast your votes. That's what she's saying. The clerk said we did not vote, let's vote. Now we voted, all right? Thank you for keeping me straight. Anything else along those lines?
No, sir.
All right, Commissioner
Chairman.
Lockett, yes, sir.
I would like to give a shout out to our own Commissioner Tanya Milton and Ms. Shirley James and the staff at the Savannah Tribune, for they were awarded yesterday by the Chamber as the Small Business of the Year for Chatham County.
All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right, anything else? All right,
As well as Chatham Area Transit.
as well, okay. Anything else? All right, now there's a need for us to go into executive session, but before we adjourn to go to executive session, I want to do one last thing, and I'm gonna come out from here. And I'm gonna start it at the floor, all right? Probably gonna end at the floor, and then we'll figure out how we gonna vote. Go to executive session. I got the mic on? Yes. Your hand right there. Test.
Must be interesting.
Oh, I got it. All right, I got it. On last Tuesday, the special election was held, and the results are in, and the Board of Election informed me on yesterday that all ballots have been accounted for except one provisional ballot, and that provisional ballot is due by today. And on Monday at 12 noon, they're going to certify the special election. So when they were telling me, it hit me that, Ms. Jean, would you come forward, please? I'm gonna ask the rest of y'all to join me in a minute. The special election came about for circumstances beyond our control, but you know, I've heard you say it more than once. We plan, but God's got a plan as well. And so in the midst of God's plan, Commissioner Rivers went home, but in a difficult time, you stepped in to carry us on here. And so today being your last meeting with us, all right, as we will sometimes next week or the week after swear in a new commissioner for the 2nd District. But I wanted to give you this plaque of appreciation, all right, presented to you for stepping in at a difficult time for yourself and for this commission, but to have you come and serve and what you have brought to this commission in your small time that you're here. I tried to convince you to stay, but you said no way. So we're at this point now, but I wanted to bring this plaque from all of us. And all this was done in the swift of an hour or so yesterday, all right? I also want to bring, did the other thing arrive yet? No, there's another, check with them to see if the other part, all right? These are flowers that we want to give you from the commission. And at this time, I want all the commissioners to come down. Yeah, take these and present them to her. There's another part of this that's coming. Oh, okay, they behind me. Get all our hugs and congratulations in before we take the picture. All right, it didn't get here yet. Okay, we'll catch up with it later on. But this is our way of saying thank you for helping us through a very difficult time for all of us. And we just wanted you to have something that lets you know we appreciate you. So there is the plaque, there are the flowers, and there is an arrangement of edible fruit that's supposed to have been here by 11. But, you know, we wanted to present you that from the commission. All right, and just to let you know, just to say thank you in the most humblest way that we can, and we just thank you for what you have brought and what you have contributed to where we are now. All right, thank you so much. And they want me to.
Can I get my whole team? Can I get everybody?
Come on. Yeah, where did Linda go?
Oh, Linda dropped off.
She okay. And again, I say thank you so much.
Thank you all for having
All
me.
right. Listen, it's a blessing to have you.
It was wonderful.
All right. All right, there is All right, there is a need for us to go into executive session for acquisition, personnel, and litigation. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Properly motion and second that we adjourn to executive session. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Waiting on 3. All right, votes are in.
Homecoming.
Homecoming.